Thank you for joining us in our latest installment of Exploring the World of Tarot. Today we will be going over one of the most commonly used tarot spreads, the Celtic Cross. We will go through it and break down each of the cards' positions, what the cards mean, and provide an overall context for the reading.
To begin the reading, first shuffle the deck until you feel it's completed, then spread out the cards in whichever way you prefer, and then finally pull each card necessary for the reading.
This first card represents the current energy of the situation. The second pulled card represents the blockage to that energy. The third card pulled represents the querent's conscious mind, and the fourth card represents their subconscious mind. The fifth represents the near past. The sixth card represents the near future. The seventh card represents internal factors. Our eighth card represents external factors. The ninth card is the querent's hopes and fears. And the 10th card is the outcome.
The first card in this reading is the Nine of Cups. This card represents being happy with what you have. Being in the current energy position means that the querent is actually pretty satisfied with where they are in life right now.
Next up is the Queen of Cups. Since this is a court card, it represents either the querent themselves or a person in their lives. It is also in the position for blocking the current energy, also known as what is crossing a person. The Queen of Cups is someone who gives their all to the people they care about and often puts others around them first. They're someone who shows a great deal of care and is always ready to counsel and help. But this often means they're not taking care of themselves when they need to be the one prioritized. In this reading, this card in this position could either mean the querent is blocking themselves by giving too much to others, or the querent may be feeling smothered by an individual who embodies the nature of the Queen of Cups.
The next card we've pulled in this reading is the Devil. This card is representing the querent's conscious mind. Going back in context to the Queen of Cups, where it was brought up the querent may be blocking themselves, this card of the Devil lends itself to further establish that interpretation. The Devil represents someone who feels trapped in some way by a power that seems bigger than themselves, but is often actually a situation the querent has more power within than they realize. However, since again this card represents the conscious mind, it implies the querent is aware that they are doing this. Perhaps they are holding themselves back by focusing so much on other people because they are scared to rock the satisfaction they previously established they were feeling.
Here we have another court card, the Page of Wands, who can represent either the querent or someone in their lives. This card, however, was pulled in the subconscious mind position, so it is likely an aspect of the querent they haven't been acknowledging. Unlike the previous cards, which create a sense of complacency, or that the individual is happy to be still or is feeling trapped, the Page of Wands is someone who is restless, ready to start a new adventure, but maybe someone who has trouble following through once they've begun. All cards must be looked at in context with their positions and relationships to other cards in the spread. So this could represent that the querent, who has been trapping themselves because they think they are satisfied, may be ready to start something new and shake up their life.
Next we have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is one of emotional despair. It represents someone who has been broken down and they need to figure out how to now move on or fix what may be salvageable. Since this card is in the past position, it means our querent has previously experienced this situation, but their current energy of the Nine of Cups shows they have managed to move on. This doesn't mean the effects of the Five of Cups are over, however, as it can certainly be influencing the querent's conscious and unconscious thoughts, and other positions within the spread. Going back again to our previous cards, the Page of Wands, who is ready to start something new, but the card of the Devil, which implies our querent is scared to do so, can lead us to interpret that they do not want to return to the experience of the Five of Cups and are worried a new path could lead to the old outcome.
Now we have our card which represents the near future, the Seven of Pentacles. The message here is one of someone who has worked hard and is now able to look back at what they've earned based on the effort they put in. This card doesn't make value judgments on whether the outcome was worth it or not. Rather, it invites the querent to determine for themselves if they are satisfied with what they have earned, or if they are not, it encourages them to forge a new path. Don't focus on the time and energy put into the old one. This again links back to the Page of Wands and Devil cards, someone who wants to take a new path but is scared to break free of a place they found security within, as mentioned in the Nine of Cups, after the hard work of leaving the Five of Cups behind.
Next, we have Judgment. Here we have the card that depicts internal factors. Judgment, again, is dealing with key life events that lead to path choices. This card often is depicted as individuals receiving a call to be judged now that a specific time in their life is over, and they will either respond to the call or ignore it. Since this card is in the position of internal factors, it is likely the querent at the very least feels their decision to start or not start a new path will be a significant factor in their life. And it may be true, but the fact that the querent is feeling this internally is what most comes into play.
Here we have external factors, which are represented by the Wheel of Fortune, which at its simplest can be summarized as that in life, what goes up must come down and vice versa. Life is not static, and it is important for the querent to remember that life will go on to highs and lows no matter what they do personally. They may be scared to start a journey which returns them to the Five of Cups, and think they can hold on to the safety that they found within the Nine of Cups. So they hold themselves back consciously in the Devil card, and ignore their subconscious of the Page of Wands. But the external reality will always come back into play.
Next we have the Hermit. The Hermit represents both the querent's hopes and their fears. This may seem strange, but most cards, as we've mentioned in previous videos, have both positive and negative aspects depending on their context. The Hermit has removed themselves from society and has begun to look internally. Again, this can be seen in how previously we've noticed our querent is diving into internal factors and trapping themselves while trying to ignore external realities. Our querent's hope is that they can continue this detachment, which can sometimes be a positive experience for a person to look inwardly and get to know their emotions and mind better without external influences. But the fear comes into play with the fact that we already know they subconsciously want to move forward, which can only be done by moving back into the world. You can't start a new path if you stay huddled inside.
The Lovers make an appearance here as our outcome. This represents a harmonious relationship in the querent's life where they feel like it is a true partnership. In order to have a partnership like this, though, they must leave the Hermit behind, as you cannot remain internalized and sustain the relationship. Hopefully, as this is in the outcome position, it means our querent will find the ability to face their fears and break away from the internal trap they're currently placing upon themselves.
One note to mention is how easy it can also be to get a layout of the story before getting into individual card meanings just by seeing the types of cards prevalent in the spread. For example, here we had many cups which indicate emotions and relationships, as well as several major arcana and a wands card which focus in on major life events.
And that's all we've got for today. Please join us next time on July 27th at 3 p.m. where we will be discussing how certain decks come with their own specific spreads that were created just for that deck.
Support public libraries. Like, share, and subscribe for more great videos.